when Tennessee went out there with no shirts before the Ohio State playoff game, and it didn't work for them. They fell down 21-0 and lost handily. We're never in the game. Part of that's Dylan Sampson getting injured. But what do you think about the shenanigans of not wearing jerseys because it's cold?
Well, my thoughts are, and this is a serious thought of mine. I think it creates a distraction more than it helps. And I know this because I remember when the Titans went to play the Packers one year, and the Titans actually were good during this time. This is not the most recent Titans. One of our offensive linemen, I forget who it was, decided to walk with the hoodie and barefoot when it was snowing. And I'm like, he was doing this warm up. It was like 10 degrees and snowing outside. And he's like, I'm going to come out in just a hoodie and shorts barefoot. And I'm like, this looks like a bit of a distraction more than anything else. And everybody was talking it up. And then the Titans got waxed by the Packers. So I just think that I was worried the same thing would happen here for Tennessee's sake. But truth be told, I don't think it would have made a difference. I think Tennessee was getting blown out no matter what.
Okay, what was the bigger factor? Sampson getting hurt, or the fact that Tennessee with no shirts may have riled up, and a lot of fans in the stands too? What about 30,000 Tennessee fans there at the Horseshoe? That's pretty impressive. What do you think is the bigger factor? Sampson getting hurt, or the fact that Tennessee seemed to poke the bear both from a fan and player standpoint?
I'm going to say the fact that they seem to. I'm going to say Sampson getting hurt. I think I don't think Tennessee had to poke Ohio State's bear. I think Ohio State had their own bear poked because of the way they were talked about after their loss to Michigan. I don't think there's anything Tennessee could have done.
No, they were out there to play. There's no question about it. And they knew that Michigan game was out there. The show represented by Banks and Jones, Tennessee's trial attorney, banksandjones.com. Broadcast live from the Ted Russell Ford Lincoln Studios. Set us up a poll question if you can, Caleb. The shirtless Vols were begging for trouble, were fired up, and wanted to show Ohio State as well. I'll let you take care of that. Today's tough question brought to you by Banks and Jones, Tennessee's trial attorney, banksandjones.com.
Today's tough question. Boom. You heard that. Now take it. The Dave Hooker Show with Caleb Calhoun.
All right, give me some adjectives from the message board. And Tennessee's shirtless look was, how about cheesy, gimmicky, or silly? Or what do you go with? I'm trying to come up with an optimistic point, and then we'll get to Will Howard's comments. But I'm having trouble coming up with a positive adjective to describe what they did since it went so south.
Well, yeah, so my poll question is, Vols going shirtless versus Ohio State was either epic or just begging to get blown out.
Okay, I'll go with that. I like that quite a bit. All right, so let me let's get. Can we go to Will Howard's comments? By the way,
yes, we don't want to play it because there is a bad word in the comments. To be fair,
I thought he bleeped it out.
No, they didn't bleep it out on Twitter. So, yeah,
okay, I think we can handle this. Hold on a second. So keep talking for me.
Okay. You want me to tell you what? You want me to pull it up? Or
yeah, go ahead and pull it up, but I'm going to see if I can. Oh, I can't mute you, so you're going to have to ride the levels there. Can you do that? Or you?
All right. I'll give this a shot. We'll see how if luckily we're on YouTube and maybe they won't catch this, so I'll give this a shot. This is what Will Howard said on the Gruden show about Tennessee going shirtless. I'm going to move it up just a little bit. Here we go.
Out of here, the SEC. The Tennessee Vols without their shirts. And it seemed like they were trying to intimidate you guys.
Oh, yeah. Well, the funny thing is they came out with their shirts on, or their shirts off, and they ran over to the opposite end zone and immediately put them back on. I was like, what the fuck are the clowns doing?
There we go. All right. And then he refers to, that's good. And then he refers to, Will Howard does, the former Ohio State quarterback. He refers to Tennessee as a bunch of after a female anatomy. And wow, I mean, he just came out and laid it on the Vols. I mean, even though his eligibility is up, you don't usually see this sort of thing.
No, yeah, he absolutely laid it on the Vols. You're right. He did a lot of talking. I think this is how Ohio State was. Look, Ohio State was they clearly had this idea of we're going to lay low and be quiet for this month after being humiliated by Michigan, and we're going to take it out. We're going to take everything out on everybody. So we're not just going to beat everybody in the playoff. We're going to humiliate them, and we're going to humiliate them afterward, and we're never going to make them forget this.
Okay, so as today's tough question again, it's our poll question as well.
Will Howard's trash talking of Ohio State, and I'm going to put this up as the poll question. Was it out of bounds, or do the Vols just have to take it on the chin?
I liked your other one earlier.
Well, the other one, Vols going shirtless.
Gimmicky or epic? How about that?
Well, let's stick. Well, let's do both today's tough question. My tough question is: do the Vols need to accept Will Howard's trash talk?
Well, I mean, what are they going to do? Drive up
No.
and beat the hell out of him?
No. Was it foul? Was it wrong? What do you have a problem with Will Howard's trash talk? Or
okay,
do you just have to
what
take
you
it on the
wanna make
chin? But let's stick with this one for a minute. Let's stick with this one. Okay, so Vols going shirtless versus Ohio State was epic.
Nearly
Or
a
just
30-year career, but you do what you want to do.
No, wait. We'll stick with yours first. We'll do both of these. We'll stick with this one first, then we'll go to the second one. So first one, let's do both of these. Vols going shirtless versus Ohio State was epic or just begging to get blown out? I think it was just begging to get blown out. And I think you do too.
Okay, I'm going to tell you what I think after 30 seconds from Banks & Jones, Tennessee's trial attorney, banksandjones.com.
Why Banks & Jones? Well, it's because they're Tennessee's trial attorney. You can play to win with Banks & Jones because they'll go to trial. You've heard of other lawyers. They say they'll go to trial and fight for you. They won't. They just want to settle. That's the easiest way out. Well, that's not Banks & Jones, led by T. Scott Jones. They won't settle. They'll go to trial for you. Tennessee's trial attorney. They play to win. Truly, Tennessee's trial attorney when it comes to criminal defense or personal injury. Why settle? It's Banks & Jones. T. Scott.
A couple things to unpack here. David says we lost, so he backed up his trash talk, Caleb. I think it's epic. And I think the fact that Dylan Sampson got hurt is the reason Tennessee was never in that game. I love the fact that they went out there and did that. Had they competed with Sampson in there at a high level, had they won the game, we'd be talking about how incredible that was. It's easy to throw off on it now, but I still think it was epic. I love the fact that they went out there and did that. I love the fact that Tennessee's fans showed up. Here's the thing that we learned. That Tennessee is not to the point where they can go in with guns a-blazing, cold out, guns out, and expect to win, especially if they lose one of their best players. Their roster is not to Ohio State's point yet. So that has nothing to do with being shirtless or not. And I think that's a close game if Sampson's never hurt. So I think it's epic. I love it. I love the fact that Tennessee's fans showed up as well. A couple of other things to unpack there. I think this clearly speaks to the Big Ten and a guy like Will Howard. For most of his career in college, the SEC was deemed a much better conference. I think there's a little bit of that Mike Gundy style. Remember at Oklahoma State, he always had an issue. Bob Stoops did as well with the SEC, and as they thought of preferential treatment. The other thing I'll throw out there is this. Is John Gruden playing the media pimp role again? Because he's just at Tennessee, and then he does this, and yesterday he's saying that I would love to be an analyst or something at Tennessee. Caleb, and now, and listen, I understand Barstool owns this thing, but you can't tell me that he didn't say, if you stir it up a little bit, that'd be great. Because he's not on ESPN anymore. He's on Barstool Sports, and there's a difference. That's a lot to unpack, Caleb, but I just thought it was typical Gruden.
Yeah, it was. You're right. It's absolutely Gruden. I mean, he probably definitely. Well, one, John Gruden set him up for that. He was like, he was talking. There was so much to talk about with Will Howard, and he specifically zoned in on Tennessee players coming out shirtless for the game. So, first of all, you would think it's epic. You have your collar popped right now, like it's 2004. So that you're. I'm sorry, Dave. I had to take a shot at you just for fun.
You don't like that?
But, yeah. Okay. So 2005 of Dave. But anyways, John Gruden would do that. I'm still kind of stuck on it's people are saying, well, Howard backed up his trash talk, but it's funny. He didn't talk trash before the game. They just waited till after the game to do all the trash talking.
No, and Will Howard too. It's kind of a hollow shot out the door because your team doesn't likely have to face Tennessee unless they meet again in the college football playoff. So that's a little bit weak. He is making a statement that let's say Tennessee and Ohio State play again, that his former teammates are going to have to back up. He's gone. It's another thing to, I don't know. Is this different? Do you, if this is Michigan and they beat Michigan like that, is he taking that shot, Caleb, or is it convenient that Tennessee isn't on their schedule year in and year out?
Well, okay, so you're suggesting that Will Howard was a little bit out of bounds for taking this shot.
I think it's a little bit weak to take a shot at a team that you were favored to beat and you did beat and that suffered a key injury. I mean, to me, you were supposed to beat Tennessee anyway. What were they, like a 6-point favorite, I believe?
Yeah, but see, I think it's fair because of the way Tennessee talked before that game. I mean, I think if you talk, you got to take it on the chin when someone talks after they beat you. I mean, that's just kind of the rule of life. It's because, like, let me ask you this, Dave. You brought up Michigan. You know those Michigan players that after they beat Ohio State, they stood at the middle of the O? They were all seniors. They're not coming back.
Yes.
Do you think that was weak on their end? Because they left their other players having to deal with that next year. But it's like they never lost. They get to brag about going 4-0 against Ohio State.
Yeah, and again, I don't have a problem with anybody talking trash, especially after they back it up. But, I just, I don't know. It seems, let's put it this way. I'll put it into this analogy, and you'll be like this one day because Quincy Calhoun is what, about 10 months old?
Yep.
Okay, would you want Quincy Calhoun to say that? By the way, if you throw in a super chat, it goes to Quincy Calhoun's college fund. I wouldn't want my son to say that on the way out the door. To me, it looks pretty petty. And I don't know that NFL scouts are any more or less endeared to Will Howard because of this.
I mean, don't you want a little pettiness in your athletes, though? I mean, isn't that like...
We are in the day and age where everybody hugs and everybody's friends and we trade jerseys.
It's ruined the NBA. They love each other too much in the NBA. I miss the days of, like, Larry Bird still won't say hey to Bill Laimbeer. If he runs into Bill Laimbeer today, he'd probably start fighting him.
Okay, now on our message board, this is a prevalent thought. Will Howard was not the best player on Ohio State's team this just in. Where did he rank?
Oh gosh,
he was at best 15 to 20 best player, 10 to 15.
Yeah, he was like Joe Flacco winning a Super Bowl.
Exactly. Okay, so should he talk less because of that? Because he was Trent Dilfer? Because you can use whoever you want.
No, because Will Howard absolutely did play well in that game and absolutely torched Tennessee secondary throwing the ball. It's not like it wasn't like we may not have been the best player, but he absolutely torched Tennessee in that game, and it was such a blowout. Everybody on that Ohio State team gets to talk, including the quarterback, who was an integral part of that offense. I mean, I think he's allowed to talk. Like,
okay. Let me ask you this: if Tennessee and Ohio State meet in the playoffs this year, do you believe that this is motivation for Tennessee? Or is this just something that's forgotten about with former players?
If this is motivation, but the 42-17 loss is not motivation, then Tennessee's got some serious problems.
Yeah, I mean, I would use it, but you're right. Your motivation should be to win a championship.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You wrote a book on the 98 team, Dave. I think so you tell me if this is true. I think one of the best things that ever happened to them was getting blown out by Nebraska. Because even though Nebraska was on roids, so they were cheating, I still think it pushed the 98 team to get a lot stronger that all season, didn't it?
Yes. Now, GOJ, I don't know what that stands for. Will deserved, earned the right to gloat. I've got no issue with that. Rustastic said, you win, you talk. But I still think it's a little classless. Oh
my God, you got to be classy to win. No, you don't. Talk.
No, I'm for it in a content standpoint, but would you want Quincy Calhoun to say this?
If people were trolling him before him, maybe. I mean, I might. I'm not going to lie. I mean,
does Quincy Calhoun have a gambling account yet with any online gambling sites?
No, he does not.
I don't believe that. Go ahead and hit
that.
Go ahead and hit that like button. Well, if you got another social security number, maybe you can get another one of those buy-ins. I don't know how it works.
I would never do something in my son's name and destroy his credit at 0 years old.
Destroy his credit at 0. I never had a chance. It's like the name is Sue by Johnny Cash.